got to talk to John Heyman. Come on, John. Dang, John. Don't keep it so real. Few saw the Mets and Phillies struggling like this. So let us know what you think. We're on X at MLB Now. It's May 1st, May Day, Workers' Day. What's your biggest surprise of the season so far? Let us know at MLB Now on X. We welcome in our guests, Joel Sherman and Steve Phillips. Hello, everybody.
Hey, how are you?
I have specific questions for you. But let me start with you and what you wrote today, Joel, because Carlos Mendoza, the poor guy, even you feel bad for Carlos sitting there. Even John Heyman, our pal, who asked that question. What are your thoughts about the way, is he like feeling hunted, Carlos Mendoza, or has he been assured, or what is happening in Queens?
First of all, that's a great question. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what our job is, to ask something tough at a tough time, succinctly and well, that's on the fans' minds. So I want to say that's a great question by my colleague, John Heyman, and something that needed to be asked. The column I wrote today is, like, Steve Cohen and David Stearns have to make a decision here. And it's a real storyline because they could have dismissed him at the end of last year at the end of a collapse. They didn't. They could have given him a little security by picking up his option for next year. They didn't. They've gotten off poorly this season. Two other teams that fit their profile, Boston and Philadelphia, large Northeast, big payroll, big expectations, got off poorly and fired their manager. It's a totally legitimate question. And he is, like, to know Carlos Mendoza is to like Carlos Mendoza. Nobody enjoys asking him the question twice a day before and after the game. But because of that, it's a legitimate question. No other profession in the world, doctor, lawyer, janitor, teacher, would have to answer, I should keep my job, I shouldn't, I feel this, and he is. Steve Cohen and David Stearns have to say, you're fired, or you have this term till Memorial Day, to July 4th, for the rest of the season. So at least that, because I think it becomes a crutch for the players. They know that he's twisting in the wind, and either they're trying very hard to avoid that, or some of them might not like him and are trying not enough. But that needs to be taken off the table. And I think that, like, I want to say this, I think Steve Cohen is maybe the most available owner in the sport to us. David Stearns talks to us at least once on every homestand at a microphone. But now's the moment they've got to come public and do something to a good man. Like, if you think he should be fired, this is a good man twisting in the wind.
Yeah, it feels that way, too, when you watch him. So my specific question for you, Steve, is what is the obligation as the lead executive to either come out and say, yeah, he's in trouble, or yeah, he's got this, or he's fine, this is not a story?
Yeah, so I agree with Joel, by the way, that this needs to be addressed. And as an executive, when the team's playing poorly, you need to be around the team a lot. When the team's playing great, nobody cares. They're fine to take care of themselves.
Right.
But I do think that players are waiting for some reason to say, now we're going to get going again. And the most obvious one, since you can't replace players, is the manager. And so they either need to know he's going to be their manager, and I think it either has to be for the entire year. You can change your mind down the road, or you're going to make a move right now. And if you're going to make the move now, to do it and get it over with. If you're not, then just let him be the manager for the rest of the year. But the in-between part is where people sit and wait for something to happen, and teams don't play well when that's the situation.
With every loss, where especially like against the Nationals, where they lose that series, it just seemed quiet and depressing. Like the losses were ordinary all of a sudden. But I want to ask you, like, what? Again, the obligation to come out and say that, like it's funny. I said once Alex Cora got it, and then Rob Thompson got it, I thought, oh, now Mendoza's going to leave. That doesn't have to be the case. Like, what the Mets' decision is totally isolated from what they do in Boston and Philadelphia, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is. But from a fan's perspective, there starts to be a churn, right? And you don't make moves to satisfy the fans, but at some point you have to give them a reason to think there's some hope for things to get better. And sometimes teams will make a move for the sake of making a move. The Mets don't have a managerial problem. They've got a roster problem. The Red Sox, I don't think, had a managerial problem. They actually had a good manager and not a bad roster. They weren't playing great, but they had a personality conflict.
I think they were on, there was two different pages within the organization
100%.
That were there.
Right. Philadelphia has the same manager won 95 games last year with that team, and the year before won the division. But you can think that something needed to change, and a change could spark them. Because what happens when you're struggling, you get so lost in your head that you don't think about it. You're thinking about yourself, thinking about your struggles, everything else. When there's a distraction, all of a sudden, that kind of takes your attention there, and players start to play better. When I was Mets GM, we had a time we were in Pittsburgh, and it leaked out that Ricky Henderson was on waivers. Now, he was on outright waivers, and it leaked out that he was out. And one of the writers asked Robin Ventura, like it was a big story, right? They asked Robin Ventura, what do you think about this? He said, sounds like the start of a 6-game winning streak. Because it was a distraction that we can stop worrying about everything else, just go play ball now. And there is a thing where sometimes there's a fight. The team gets in a brawl. All of a sudden, they're pulling together. They're there for each other. They're rooting for each other. And I'm now competing against them instead of competing against myself. And that's where these teams that are losing right now are stuck.
It's funny. I used to hate all that stuff. I can see it now a little more plainly. I'll say Ricky Pitalico brought that up. He does Phillies broadcasting. And he had said, like, when your guy gets fired, he goes, you do as a player look in the mirror and think, I think what he was saying was, I just got this guy fired. This guy was a good guy. We got him fired. And somehow that changes. Don Mattingly is 3-0. For however you got there, that is what's happening.
Yeah, they should look in the mirror now, because whether he's fired or not, they're certainly putting him on in front of the firing squad to be considered here. And I do believe this is an executive problem. Like, to me, you could fix a hole in the boat if it's sinking. But what if you have a bunch of holes in the boat? Like, to me, I look at them and I say nothing makes a team look more listless and disinterested than an offense that never applies pressure constantly in a game, right? 1, 2, 3 innings,
look
8
lethargic,
pitches, right?
Yeah.
Nothing prevents you from winning 12 of 16, which they do, like lack of quality depth in your rotation, which gives you a chance to win every day because it's whatever and shortening the bullpen. And nothing makes it harder to win any singular game than lacking depth in a bullpen. And they lack that. They're 0 for 3 in that area. Would you like to know someplace else they failed, I think? They made an overhaul of the roster and then brought in all new coaches also who weren't familiar with the players and weren't familiar with a very tough city to work in. Whereas they let go a lot of veterans who were. So you have a lot of lost people, both the leaders and the players wandering around.
Right.
That is an upstairs issue. Yeah. That is not a dugout issue to me. Like, if he made every right move this year, and I'm not here to say Carlos Mendoza made every right move this year, the Mets would be what, 12-19? This is a failure above, and because of that, somebody from above has to either pull the plug on the manager and say, we need to change the conversation here, try to defibrillate this, or say, it is not his fault. He has got this season.
Well put. Your column is up in the Post now, if you get that. I want to throw this one, and you tell me if this is getting too cute. I love cerebral baseball. I love baseball-y plays. Here's a baseball-y play. Maybe Alec Boehm, his walk-off sac fly. This is Drew Gilbert in center field. Steve, I'm told he tried to catch this ball down low, trying to deke Adolis Garcia at third base from leaving early.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing? Like, he put that. No, so I guess he didn't have a chance to throw him out. He is deep enough where he's not throwing him out.
So what happens is you catch it low when the base runner thinks you're going to catch it up here. He leaves when he thinks you're going to catch it here. You catch it down there, and he goes home. It doesn't come back. You appeal third base, and you get the out. I think it's a great play.
I know how it works, but you think that's going to work?
I think it's worth trying. Absolutely.
Well, you have no other thing. Would you believe that I started asking Buck Showalter about this when he was the Yankee manager in the 90s? I said, if you were in a do-or-die situation like that, can you teach your outfielder to do this and then catch it like this and see if you get a leave early situation? Like, it's a do or die. Like, if you're losing by 2 points in an NBA game, you throw the ball from 94 feet because it's the only chance to score.
I guess. Do you think he had a shot if he caught that honestly and threw it in? No?
No chance.
It's way too far.
I guess if it's, well, I'm sorry, I'm getting in the way of catching it on the ground.
There was a playoff
it's spy versus spy stuff. I get it. I like the deep
thought you would love this.
I don't know. There's something about me that feels like it's eyewash. You know what I mean? It's like
it's a 1 in 100 shot or something to try to win a game. Don't you want to take the one? Do you remember? It's not apples to apples, and I'm trying to do this off the top of my head, but I believe it was the Game 7 Braves and Dodgers in the bubble in 20, right, where Ozuna got confused at third base with Mookie Betts doing something, and Mookie Betts, the most important thing he did is he understood he couldn't leave his feet, and Ozuna got caught between should I tag up or not, and then by the time he did, he was out. And so I do think the only way in a do-or-die situation is you have to confuse a base runner for what he's doing, and I would take that shot over just conceding a loss. I'd rather a 1-100 shot than a no in 100 shot.
Something in my inner computer is saying try to throw him out. That's what it is.
You have no shot of throwing him out unless he falls.
Well, you're not talking about me. I would have, but I don't know if he.
Well, you got a gun.
Drew Gilbert, by the way.
Drew
Gilbert played for Tony Vitello at University of Tennessee, so maybe you learned it from him, his manager.
Maybe.